Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden. This is Meditation for Beginners. We're going to go ahead and just do some freeform breathing. Deep breath. And out. This is the time where we give ourselves permission to put everything aside and just allow the space for you. Give yourself permission to just embrace this space. Breathe. There are no worries here. Right now, in this moment, it's just not allowed. It's all about you. Deep breath in. And out. And in. And we are opening dialogue, conversation with the subconscious mind and with our identity. And if you can feel it, your intuition, what you are supposed to be doing, what you should and shouldn't do according to your intuition at your subconscious mind. Focusing on what you love. Define what you love through defining what we love. What we love, not who. We define ourselves. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to go ahead and do some box breathing. Just a moment. Okay, ready? We're going to do 4 counts of 4 this morning. Box breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Relax. Allow the earth to just settle around you. Imagine yourself a tree, a grand willow tree that moves very easily with the wind, but whose roots grow deep. Ground yourself. Things will come and they will go, and you bend with them. Grow and expand your energy and your knowledge. One of my favorite visuals are wings emanating all of my energy coming out of my back. And they are magnificent, grand, that just sprawl out of my back and all over the ground behind me. And when the energy just pulls in and flows, I imagine all of my energy and power flowing, producing my magnificent wings. Take something like that similar for yourself. Imagine yourself quite literally as a mythical creature. What would it look like? What would it be like? If fantasy is not your thing, let's go sci-fi. Imagine yourself this glorious creature. What is your spirit animal? And imagine all of your energy and all of that power just emanating from you, taking shape into whatever creature you imagine. Think of that mythical parts of you. A dragon, a dragon. Imagine your energy producing the shape of a tail, wings, the talons, the parts of you that would extend into the fantasy. What would that look like? What would that feel like? What colors would they be? Deep breath in. And when you exhale, just push out that image and allow the energy just flowing into it to take shape. What kind of powers would you have? What dreams would you dare give this creature? Can it shapeshift? Is it aerial or aquatic? Fill in all of the characteristics. Feathers or scales, or both. What gender would it be? Define as much of this creature as you possibly can. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. What kind of ethics and morals would it have? Would it be good, mischievous, evil? Give it characteristics and traits. Make this an alter ego of you. And as you meditate, imagine that you are meditating as this creature. It literally is the essence of all of your desired power. All of it. The ability to completely protect you. The ability to take all of your dreams, desires, and make them real. The ability to carve out a safe place for you so no thing could ever harm you again. Imagine this thing is your guardian, protector. It is literally all of your power. Would it be kind? Would it be gentle? Would it be angry? What emotions would it primarily have? And think hard on this one. What actions would it do to soothe you when you are upset? Imagine this creature also has a power to calm you, comfort you, and soothe you. Focus real hard on what that would look like. Name this creature. I'm going to give you about 3 more minutes shaping this image, expanding on it, and then I'm going to talk. Fill in as much of the detail as you can. If this creature could come along and pick you up right now and take you home into a safe place just for your respite, just to take away all of your worries, how would it do that? What powers would it have? Where would it take you? When you get angry at it and you lash out, would it comfort you in turn? Would it understand your anger instead and just hug you, cradle you, tell you everything's going to be okay? There is no place here for anger and fear, because here you do not need it. Here you are safe. You can fall into this creature's arms and just sleep. One more minute. Okay. Open your eyes and let's talk for a minute. That creature is you. That creature is so much you. When I was 12, I imagined something similar to this. And that imagined creature became my go-to source of internal comfort, everything I ever needed. Quiet, gentle musician who I could talk to, who always would listen, who always was there to comfort me no matter what. It took me years to figure out what this creature was. I named him Eric when I was 12. I wrote him letters. Eric got me through all of it. All of it. I had Eric from the time I was 12 to 20. Without Eric, I would not have made it. It wasn't until very recently that I learned, finally, that Eric was me. He was a personification of a maternal, loving father that I always wanted. He was the father that I craved. When I lacked the parental figure and the comfort due to the amount of trauma, my mind invented one instinctively, something that would provide the comfort and the soothing that I required that I was not getting from parents. Somebody who would listen to me when I spoke. With Eric, I was always heard. I was always available. I was always somebody. I was always visible and seen. The characteristics you assigned to your creature are the characteristics you have inside of you. But more than that, they are your identity. The pieces that you took out and assigned to this creature. Not only are they in you, not only are they you, but they are your actual identity. You're already that creature. The process of healing is understanding that you don't need that creature because you are that creature. And when you realize that, when you know it, when you believe it, you become it. I watched the movie last night with my daughter, The Matrix. And Oprah did this whole thing on The Matrix about how it's real. And yes, it's real. If you look in psychology, there is something called the spiral dynamics. It is an 8-part of human evolution. It is not human, the species and individuals evolution. And there are stages that people evolve through to, well, right, it's continual, but there's currently 8 stages and no one's been able to get past stage 8 yet. Stages 1 through 6 is the matrix. Once you cross stage 6 into 7, you can see the matrix. And that's when manifestation begins. It's when I got into stage 8 that I was able to finally look back. And that's actually when I realized what the creature was and what it was assigned to, how it worked, everything about it. And that's when I realized that my true power, your true power, is that creature. Now, when you cross into stage 7 and 8, it is the becoming of that creature. That's what healing is. Inside the matrix, you're told that healing is patching a boo-boo, but the individual, you, remains what you are. And that's not true. It's not until you cross from stage 6 into stage 7 that you leave the matrix and you realize you are not healing, you are transforming. This is the matrix perspective versus outside the box thinking. Once you leave the matrix and you realize what system you have been living in that's been giving you a perspective, and then you step out of that perspective and you see what really is going on, it changes everything. If you can grasp this, if you do understand it, and if you believe it, just like in the matrix, if you believe it, you get to a point where you start to imagine becoming that creature. Now, this is where it ties into self-care, and this is why it is so important. When I ask people what they do for their self-care, the responses I usually get are, well, I meditate, I go for a walk, I exercise, I like to fish. Some people will say, I shower, I get dressed. And I know what that is. I've heard it so many times. I've read the same articles on the internet. Those are articles on the internet. That's what that is. And that's not what self-care is. Self-care is anything that soothes your Jerry, your fear system, and enables, empowers, and identifies or defines your identity. That's it. Self-care is just the thing you do that soothes that fear system and empowers and defines your identity. So does doing a shower do this? Well, it really depends on how you shower. Does going for a walk do this? It depends on you. All of the things that the internet suggests, they're missing the point. And this is the problem with modern self-care. I'm just going to say it. This is the problem with self-care inside the matrix. They've missed the point. Everything inside the matrix misses the point. Self-care is not about a generic set sitting down and doing it. It is about soothing your fear system. And that's a very personal thing. And nurturing, defining your identity, a very personal thing. So I can't go in and just say, here's some self-care. You have to define it. You have to figure out what are the things that soothes your Jerry, your fear system, and what are the things that nurtures your identity. The only things that nurture your identity is what you love. Love and fear are opposite emotions. They cannot exist at the same time. They are good and evil. They are enemies. They are the things that oppose each other. They are God and Satan. They are every biblical and every religious, allegorical and metaphorical anything that's out there. Every book that's ever been written is referring to love and fear. It is Harry Potter and Voldemort. Every one of these stories. It is Sauron and Frodo. Every one. Every one. Every analogy that we have ever written in every book, caveman drawings, revolves around these two emotions. They cannot coexist. They cannot. When you focus on fear, you cannot feel love. It literally shuts it down. When you focus on love, it is not possible to feel fear. The problem is when we are traumatized, we are focused on fear, and all of our attention draws to fear, and then we forget love. And we are so gung-ho on surviving and being afraid that love is forgotten. In many of us, inside the matrix, love is cut out of us and there's nothing left. That's when you don't remember who you are. You can't remember what you love. You don't know what soothes you. It's a disconnect from your identity. It is literally a total disconnect from what you love. More so, this is important, more so when you're asked, what do you love? Most people will say their spouse and their children. This is not who you are. Those are actually life rafts, distractions, supplemental crutches to supplement your lack of you. That's where most relationships come from. Children grow up and they have their own identity. Their job is not to fulfill you. Their job is to live for themselves. But when you love your children to the point where you define yourself by your children, you are using your children for your own loss. And your children especially, can feel that. They know they're being used on a deep vibrational frequency down there. And that starts to program them that, oh, if I'm going to be loved, then I have to be used. Think about what kind of people you are teaching them to be. Stop using your children to fulfill your sense of loss. You are hurting your children. Just conscious awareness. Start focusing instead on what you love separate from your children. And more importantly, how to soothe, as importantly, how to soothe that fear system. Now let's go back to that creature I had you imagine. All the answers are in that creature. All of them. Whatever you imagined, that's you. Whatever you built, that is all your answers. How it protects you, how it soothes you, what things it protects you from, that's all the arsenal you need to protect you from that fear system and calm that fear system down. That is how you soothe you. Did it talk to you? Did it listen? Did it hold you? Did it say a certain something to you that you needed to hear? That is your soothing. That is your coping style. That is what you need to calm your Jerry down and eliminate your fear system. Those are your tools. The things that you love, the things that you created it into, the fantasy of what that creature became, the things that you would do together, that is your love. That is your identity. Create a fiction. Every time you meditate, create a bigger fiction. Where would you go together with this creature? What would you do? How would you and this creature evolve together? What would happen together? Take that creature and allow it to become your alter ego, because it is you. What you are right now inside the matrix, that is not you. That is a thing that has adapted to function inside the matrix. The matrix keeps you broken, so you stay in the matrix. Because when you evolve, you're going to get to that point where you don't need it anymore, and you're going to exit the system. And when you exit the system, You realize just how completely independent you are from it. And you realize you've been that creature the whole time. The power that you need to heal is right there inside of you, right in your imagination and your knowledge. You've been disconnected from it so long that you can't remember it and you can't access it. So this is called imagination. I don't have a name for it. I just call it imagination therapy or imagination or visualization. And I realized a while ago that in using fantasy creatures like this, they do a lot to nurture us, to help us. Now, if you struggled developing this creature, the amount you struggled is how disconnected you are from the self. We imagine only when we are connected to our identity. If you can't imagine, it's because you are that disconnected. So when you meditate, imagine yourself becoming this creature. Keep building on it. Change it. Mine's a changeling. I have like 4 images in my head, and it changes. She can do anything. She can turn into anything. And she'll turn into whatever's required for the situation to keep me safe. And now I just walk around constantly emanating that fairy wings out the back, where I'm just kind of oozing all over places of fairy goddess, like, oh yes, I am goddess imagination. Oh yes, I have the ability to become a mermaid, which I do often. It's really empowering. Allow your ego to just flow. When we grow up, we have humility and self-value. And these two things are on absolute opposite sides of the spectrum. The goal is to live with both of them, humility and self-value, self-importance. Unfortunately, a lot of us, especially empaths, have the self-value and importance taken away from us, and it's all humility. That's where suicide begins. This is where depression begins. The other side of this is when people remove humility and their self-importance and self-value go this way. Hello, narcissism. These are people who live completely void of humility, and they are just all about self-value and self-importance. It's when we realize that these two things must coexist in this beautiful center point of balance that we really understand, oh, now it's safe to have an ego. The person who's humiliated is terrified of the ego, and they will reject it because they associate the ego, self-value, with the narcissist. Likewise, the narcissist will view the person with humility as being this weak, useless thing, and they will reject all humility. Both of them are wrong because both of them have missed the point. Both of them are living without the balance. You really want to bring them together. If you are over humiliated, and you most likely are, you want to push that right back to that center and fill that area. It's not a pushing it back. It's being pulled in through self-value. Self-value pulls humility out of that sign. Likewise, if there's any off chance the narcissists are watching this, self-value, self-importance, humility pulls that back in. So it's not pushing you from humility into this area. It's the value, that core value, pulling you here. So if you are way too far this way, you lack self-importance and self-value. I'll be covering that later in some of my videos. So thank you so much for joining me. Take a look at the links below. Become a member of the Healing Garden. We have a lot of amazing stuff happening. This pairs up beautifully with a program I just started yesterday called ASMR and positive affirmations. So it's like a little sister thing I have going for self-care. So this is meditation side of it. And then I'm going to be doing ASMR and positive affirmations, bring this all together into a gorgeous little self-care love bundle. And then I have Journey into the Self for members only, which is a full support group. And basically it's a workshop where we get right into that self-care, and you're given all the tools. We do visualization like that with the dragon that I just explained, or whatever mythical creature you put yourself together as. It's all there. And that also includes, membership includes the Power of Self, which is my monthly mini master power course, which is extraordinary. It's like 5 days of a power course that focuses on each and all of those things. Goddess training is coming up in August. So that's the course that's coming in for members only, or you can purchase just that particular course for $1,000. Membership for monthly membership is $120, giving you access to the Power of Self, the full archives, and upcoming courses and Journey into the Self, the workshop that goes along with all of this. So thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.